So we opened the program today talking about State Representative Ted Gassman and how he has proposed legislation to force married couples to stay together, and said that the reason why is that his 16-year-old granddaughter's parents just got divorced. Either his son or daughter, one or the other, just left their spouse, and so he wants to, he and 7 other Republicans think that the solution to this problem is more big government. I'm a little confounded about this. Steve Deace, however, seems to have figured it out. Nationally syndicated conservative talk show host, Steve Deace Show, at Steve Deace Show is the Twitter. His website, Steve Deace, DEACE.com, the website. Steve, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Tom. How are you?
I am fine. What I don't get is this guy saying that his daughter's hormones are raging and this has something to do with her parents getting divorced. And I particularly don't understand why Republicans want big government solutions to personal problems like not having relationships work out.
Well, I think that conversation actually has to probably be walked back about 6 steps. I mean, I think you're originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I grew up there. So beyond our Michigan ties, let's see if we can come up with something else we agree on. Do you think it's better off if kids are raised by a married mother and a father?
I've looked at the science, and it doesn't seem to make that much difference. There is a difference in financial outcomes, but actually when you take the racial component out, that difference pretty much vanishes between single parents and married couples. There are more single parents among minorities than there are among not among whites. And if you
why would we take out the racial component? Why would we do that?
Because then you're comparing apples to apples. If you want to compare single parent white people to married white people in terms of the outcome of their kids, or single parent African Americans or Latinos compared to multiple parent, pair of parents, African Americans or Latinos, basically there's not much difference. The statistics that have been used to suggest over the years
why that racial component exists is because you see more broken families and more out of wedlock births in those communities. For example,
the racial component exists because of 400 years of brutal racism and genocide in this country.
All right. Well, now see, I'm a little confused here because you just told me that we can't defend marriage on the grounds that he can't control his 16-year-old hormones, but now you want to tell me that because of something that happened 300 years ago, people aren't responsible for their actions in the here and now. I don't understand that.
No, I've said none of that. What I've said is that this Republican lawmaker and 7 of his Republican colleagues think that the solution to people's relationships and marriages not working out is to force them to stay together. And I don't understand how that's supposed to work. Do we put a police officer in front of the house and say you must sleep in the same bedroom, or you have to stay in the same house? I mean, tell me how this is going to work, Steve. You're in favor of this.
Well, I'm a talk show host too, and we have a tendency to jump on stories like this to draw the greatest illustration of an overall point we're trying to make. But to me, I think if we can't go back and walk back and agree that that children are better off being raised with a married mother and a father.
I will not agree with that.
Then all the other red herrings you might throw out there that might elicit a chuckle, and I have to admit to you, it's a pretty funny story. In the end, we aren't going to be able to really agree then on anything at that particular point. I mean,
I guess if our starting point,
the optimum situation,
I don't disagree.
Mother and a father raise children.
If our starting assumption is that it's better for kids to have a mom and dad than to simply be raised by one parent, in terms of economic outcome or psychological outcome. If your starting assumption is that it's better for them to have 2 parents, and I believed that for years and years and years until just in the last year or so, I've seen the actual scientific data where they actually said, okay, the reason why it looks this way is because most of the people in poverty in the United States who are disproportionately single-parent people are minorities. And so if you separate out minorities from white people and you look at within the minority group, single parents versus multiple parents, or within the white group, single parents versus multiple parents, or 2 parents, there's virtually no difference in outcome. So
I was born to a single mom. My mom was 14 when she conceived me.
So you seem to have done okay.
So I've got a lot of personal experience with this. I mean, my mom and I literally grew up together. I'm white. I will say that our financial consideration improved dramatically when she married the father that gave me my last name.
That's not uncommon.
I see, this is where we have a huge debate culturally in our country, where you and I are looking at the same data but beginning from a different premise.
Well, I suspect you're not looking at the data that I'm looking at, because I never hear this
I would
stuff.
look at your data and I would conclude that the reason why that racial component exists is because you have a huge breakdown. I mean, this is a scene from the movie Boys in the Hood, hardly a right-wing film. I mean, this is where you have generations of dysfunction, unfortunately, and family.
No, I think you're misunderstanding. What I'm saying is that
cycle, and I think that
no, Steve, I think you're misunderstanding what I said. In the black community, the outcome of kids having two parents versus one parent is not that different either. It's just the average American family in the United States has net wealth of around $5,000. The average white family in the United States has net wealth of around $86,000. That's the consequence of white privilege and of years and years of segregation.
You don't think an 80% out of wedlock birth rate has anything to do with that? And we for the last 40 years, Tom, we've used all the programs you guys have wanted us to use to try to erase that.
No, we
gap.
haven't.
It hasn't worked.
No, we haven't.
I mean, how many more years would you like to
undoing them ever since Lyndon Johnson put them into
place? It hasn't worked. So maybe that's not the solution to the problem.
Lyndon Johnson cut poverty in this country in half. He created essentially the black middle class by making the kind of segregation that the marchers on Selma back 40, 50 years ago were fighting to stop and getting bloodied over. John Lewis getting beaten on the Pettus Bridge.
So what happened?
We have somehow got off this topic. I guess I've already made my point. I'll just leave it at that. I don't know how this would be enforced. I don't know why. You never answered my question, Steve.
Well, no, thanks, Tom. I think your question's silly. The real argument is the argument about the family that I was trying to have.
Okay. Steve Deace, DEACE.com.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
Thanks, Steve, for being with us today.